So, how on earth does a team absolutely stacked with superstars like PSG end up losing to a rival like Bayern Munich in a massive Champions League match? Today, we're going to dig into this clash, not just to look at the X's and O's, but to really get inside the psychology of what separates winning from losing at this incredible level.
Okay, let's kick things off with this, just a brilliant piece of insight from Bayern's manager, Vincent Kompany. This quote really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about. It's basically a masterclass in staying level-headed, which, as you're about to see, is maybe just as important as any tactic on the pitch.
What Kompany's getting at here is this idea of professional balance. Look, over a long, grueling season, you just can't afford to get too high after a big win or, fall into a spiral after a tough loss. That consistency, that even keel, that's what makes a champion.
And this is so key for the winning side, right? The celebration, it's short. Kompany is clear. The very next day, you wipe the slate clean. It's back to zero. That's how you stop complacency from creeping in, because the next game is already on the horizon.
All right, so let's talk about the game itself. PSG's manager, Luis Enrique, he put it perfectly. He said it was like watching two totally different games, split right down the middle by one single pivotal moment. The whole thing just turned on a dime.
And you can see that dramatic shift right here. When it was 11 players versus 11, well, Bayern was just the better team. Simple as that. They were dominating, creating all sorts of chances. But then, boom, after the red card, PSG suddenly has the man advantage and the whole dynamic flips. They got better. They were creating opportunities, but they just couldn't find that all-important tying goal.
So, this brings us to the real heart of it all. This is the big question, isn't it? If PSG had the extra player, and they were the ones creating more chances in that second half, what exactly went wrong? Why couldn't they make it count?
Well, when Luis Enrique was asked this exact question, he did not mince words. Not at all. He was incredibly direct and pointed to one specific, absolutely critical flaw in how his team played.
Yep, one word, gifts. And when you think about it, that word says so much. See, a gift isn't something your opponent earns through brilliant play. It's something you just give them. He's basically saying, this loss, it was on us. It was self-inflicted. And here he is, explaining exactly what he meant. He's admitting that when you're up against one of the best teams in Europe, you absolutely cannot afford to make those kinds of unforced errors. You can't just hand them chances on a silver platter, because a team with the quality of Bayern, they will make you pay every single time.
Okay, but let's go back to that moment, that turning point. The red card changed everything. On the pitch, you can imagine, the tension was through the roof. From the outside, it's tough to get a real feel for it. So, what did a player who was right there in the thick of it have to say?
Listen to this. PSG player João Neves. He leaves zero room for debate. From his point of view, right there on the field, it was a clear red card. He says there is no other option. That's just a refreshingly honest, straight-up verdict from someone who had the best view in the house.
All right, so we've picked apart the loss, we've gotten clarity on that huge turning point, so where does a team like PSG go from here? I mean, how do you bounce back from a defeat where you feel like you literally gave the game away?
Well, according to João Neves, it's not about some big, dramatic overhaul. It's not about tearing everything down and starting over. No, it's a focused, professional process. You keep your eyes on what's next. You put in the work at training every single day, and you focus on tweaking those small details. It's all about persistence, not panic.
You know how it is after a huge game like this, right? The hype machine just goes into overdrive. Everyone's ready to make these grand declarations. But really, does one 90-minute game actually decide who the best team on the entire continent is?
And again, Neves just brings it all back down to earth with a dose of reality. He reminds us of something that's so crucial in sports. One single game is just that. It's one game. It's a snapshot. It is not the whole movie. And really, that's the bottom line here. A single battle doesn't decide the war. True greatness, true superiority is proven over an entire season, through all the ups and downs. The results at the very end, that's what will tell the real story.
So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. We've looked at the tactics, the red card, the mistakes. But when you circle back to Kompany's philosophy of ignoring the hype and Enrique's frustration with giving away gifts, it really makes you ask the question, in the super pressurized world of elite sports, is the battle inside your own head ultimately more important than the battle on the field?